Okay, welcome back. So hello, you can't see me. We're now up to doing the hem. So it's pretty much one of our last steps. Okay, so having a look at your instruction book, we're up to steps 6 and 7. Okay, so having a look at the hem there. Now we need to measure a 1 centimeter seam. Okay, this is similar to doing your hem. It's just a little bit different. Okay, you're going to need your pins. So just like your hem, I'm going to fold down at that 1 centimeter seam line, but this time I'm going to pin it there. Okay, just through one side of the fabric. Find that 1 centimeter dot and pin it there. Okay, do that all the way around. Okay, now I've pinned down the 1 centimeter seam around the top of my shorts. The next bit of the instruction says to now pin down, measure 5 centimeters and pin it down. Okay, so I'm going to measure 5 centimeters from the top edge. Okay, so 5 centimeters on the top. Pins coming under. Okay, so then make sure you don't get any leave any pins here. So take a pin out, hold it there, and fold down where that 5 centimeter mark is. Okay, reposition the pin just like that. So do the same, taking it out there, folding it down where my 5 centimeter mark is. And pin it there and continue 5 centimeters. Okay, oh, I've got a pin here, make sure it doesn't get left behind, put it on the outside. Okay, and continue that all the way around. What we really want the casing to do is it's going to hold our elastic. So if you bought the correct size elastic, it's going to end up sitting in here. Okay, so that's the sizing we want, just like that. If, however, your elastic is thinner or thicker than this, we will need to adjust the size of your casing. So please come and see me in lesson time. Okay, now that I have got my casing pinned all the way around my short, I'm nearly ready to sew, but I do need to find one of the seams. Generally your back seam is better, and you can tell your back seam because it is a little bit higher, or it's got more fabric down the bottom here. So this is my back seam here. I'm going to turn that to face me. Okay, and I'm just going to measure in a 5 centimeter opening. This is where I do not want to stitch. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line there to remind myself not to stitch in this section. Okay, so just there, okay, I've ruled a line. That's going to stay open. So I'm going to start stitching at the start of that line, just like we did our hem, stitching really close to the edge all the way around until we get to this seam, so that 5 centimeter gap stays open. Remember, it's straight stitch and to reverse on each side. Okay, so if you have a look, I have stitched really close and left an opening just in the middle here, and you'll see what that's for in a second. We're now up to step 7 in your instruction book. So I've got elastic. Find where you'd want your shorts to sit. Okay, so I normally like mine around about here. Now it's important that once you find it comfortably, I'm not stretching this elastic, you then stretch it for approximately 3 centimeters. Okay, so it's overlapping. Okay, Alright, so I'm going to cut it off there. And we'll need to overlap that later to secure our stitch. Okay, so now using a large safety pin, which I'll give to you in class, pierce that through one end of your elastic, sorry. And that's going to be our guide. Now make sure your elastic is straight, there's no curves or twists in it. Find the opening, okay, and use that safety pin as a guide. So what you need to do, it's a little bit tricky to get started, a little bit fiddly. We've got to poke the elastic and the safety pin through that casing or the gap that you've made. Okay, and then we just keep gathering the shorts and then pulling. So we want this casing, sorry, the elastic to come through at the other end. See you soon. Right, hopefully it hasn't taken you too long. So I'm nearly coming out to the other end here. I've still got a bit of elastic, which is good. Okay, I don't want that to get stuck inside the casing, so I need both ends. So I'm just going to pull through. Okay, try to spread out. Oh, the gathering. Oops, don't lose it. Okay, so the gathering doesn't need to be even for now. Okay, whoever is fine. Now just make sure once again that your elastic isn't twisted on the inside, so just feel, because we are now going to stitch them together. So remember, we said we wanted 3 centimeters, which is about that much, for your elastic to overlap. Okay. 3 centimeters of overlapping. You can put a pin there. Okay, we've got some sewing to do now. Okay, so just like your instruction shows, we want to stitch a square around that 3 centimeter bit of elastic and then a cross. Stitch, reverse. Okay, now we're going to stitch and do something called stitching around a corner. So go nice and slow. You can use your hand wheel if you think you might miss the edge. Make sure your needle is in the elastic. Lift your presser foot up and turn. Presser foot goes down. Stitching again. Can use your hand wheel if you think you're going to miss the edge. Needles in, lift and turn. Okay, a little bit fiddly. Oops. Oh no, come undone. I need to rethread my sewing machine. I'll do that. Okay, back on. My bobbin had run out of cotton, so I've just rethreaded it. Remember the hand wheel. Turn around the corner. Always reverse at the end. Okay. I'm going to go back a little bit. I want to be in. I want to go straight into my diagonal stitch now. So just turning my elastic around. Okay. Just going to come up. I'll do this all in one go. Lucky no one's going to see this part, so it doesn't look the neatest. Oh, that's quite dodgy. That's okay. Okay, so now that I have securely stitched that, it's going to stretch out and even out my elastic, so it's all tucked in now. I probably could have made my elastic a little bit tighter so there was more gathering. Okay, that's all right, just evenly spread that out. And I'm going to close that gap, oopsie, that I have there just with a straight stitch. Okay, now because we're stitching on top of other stitching, it's really important that we go back and stitch over some of the stitching that's already there and same down the bottom. Okay, Okay, lucky last step. So make sure, like I said, your gathering is evenly distributed all around. Find your 2 side seams, okay? And we're going to do something called stitching in the ditch. So where the stitching is already here, we're just going to pull it open and straight stitch, stitch, reverse, stitch all the way down, reverse, try to stitch as close or inside that ditch there. That's why it's called stitching in the ditch, and then you'll be done. Okay, so I've just stitched in the ditch there on each side, and voila, my shorts are done. As an extension activity, if you like, with leftover fabric, you can add a pocket somewhere on here, or you can add embellishing, maybe like making a bow and attaching them to the sides, okay, and add a ribbon, or you maybe have got some edging or frilling, just like I've done on these shorts. I want to add that. Okay, you can be as creative as you like, only if there's time though, so please see me before you decide to do that. Congratulations, you now have some great boxer shorts to wear. Well done.